My name is Salli Edwards and I'm a singer-songwriter from Melbourne, Victoria in Australia. My latest song is called Stars and Snowflakes and it's from my latest album, my second one, called City Life. Well, this song, Stars and Snowflakes, was actually inspired by one of my all-time favorite movies, which is called Moonstruck. It's a classic film from the 1980s. You may or may not be familiar with it. It stars Cher, and she won a Best Actress Oscar for her role in it. And I'm not sure why I love this movie so much, but I've seen it probably 30 to 50 times easily. I'm not sure if you're one of those people who like to rewatch movies that you love, but I tend to do that sometimes. And there's this one particular line in the movie, in this scene, where it's basically about how we as people have been put on this earth to mess things up and make mistakes by doing things like falling in love with the wrong people, and that's because we're not perfect and only the stars and snowflakes are perfect. And I remember thinking at the time, wow, I really love that idea and I love that line. So maybe one day I'll write a song called Stars and Snowflakes, which I've done, but not until many, many years later, and it's now on my latest album. Well, a lot of people ask me this question, and seriously, I could probably talk about this for an entire day. So what do I love about writing songs? Well, I love the freedom and the creativity of it. So when you're writing a song, it's like you're in your own world, and you're the one in full control, and there are no rules, or you can break all the rules if there are some, and that you can be as free to be as creative as possible. And I love that. And I love how, and a lot of other songwriters say this very same thing. I've heard people say this and I go, oh my God, I know exactly what that means. And it's like what we actually do as songwriters is we channel the song. It's like being connected or in tune with this giant cosmic radio that's out there in the universe, and that's where the songs come from. And most often they're fully formed, and what you do is you channel it, and you may play a small or big part in bringing it into this world. And I love that. It's almost like this really mysterious process, because sometimes even I wonder, how did this song come to me? And a lot of the times, songs come to me like a melody pops into my head, and usually it's when I'm doing things like, I don't know, I'm in the shower, or I'm driving or walking, or sometimes first thing in the morning when I wake up, and the melody would just suddenly pop into my head. And what I normally do when that happens is I grab my phone and try to record it before I forget it, because sometimes they can just vanish just like that. And then I'll pick up my guitar and try to work out the chords to the melody, and sort of build from there. Or sometimes it might be the other way around, in that I might start writing the song from the lyrics. I have a whole pile of lyrics that I've written over the years. I keep a journal and I'm constantly scribbling ideas, phrases, fragments of conversations, or things that I hear or things that I see. I'm constantly writing these down. And so, I might pick up some lyrics that I've written before, and I think, okay, what kind of feel or mood or message is this trying to convey? And then I just sort of, noodle around on my guitar and try to come up with, a hook or a melody or a chord progression that goes with it, and it just goes from there. But that's really what I love about writing songs, is that there's no set formula, there's no right or wrong. Like each song comes about really differently. Sometimes songs come really quickly. Like I've written songs in 15 to 20 minutes, and I just love that. And I wish that would happen more often. And some songs have taken weeks or even months, where I might start it and somehow it's just not really flowing, or I get a bit stuck. So I sort of put it aside and then come back to it and finish it off later. And that's when it feels more ready to be completed. But I also love the process of writing songs with other people. I love the collaborative process. I love how you can sort of, work with other people, how you all bring your own influences and ideas to the table. And a combination of all of those things leads to you creating something really unique. And I really love that. I probably can't really pin it down to just one piece of advice, but a couple of things come to mind. First is that I think as a songwriter, I would really advise not being wedded to just one type of music or one genre. Be really open to listening to all different kinds of music. Like I love all kinds of music, and I've been listening to all kinds of music my entire life, from anything from 80s pop to 60s, 70s folk, classic rock, grunge, alternative, indie, dance music, country, and even jazz. I listen to everything, and all of these songs I think come out in my music because all my songs sound quite different, and I find it really hard to just being pinned down to one genre. And so I would suggest that to anyone writing a song or anyone starting out writing songs, is be really open to different types of music and different influences, because they all have something to teach you that you can bring into your music in order to create something that is uniquely yours. My other piece of advice is to be open and observant to things all around you. I used to be a journalist, and so I kind of have this sort of curiosity about the world, and I observe things and note things down based on conversations that I have or things that I see around me. And when you store all of these things, you can really channel that into your songwriting. It feeds into the sort of different things that you could write about. I mean, you can write about personal things, but you can also embellish that with observations from other perspectives and other people. And then the third bit of advice, and I actually, when I was starting out writing songs, I remember I used to always try to write a song by telling a story from start to finish, and I tried to write every single song that way. And what would happen was that I would just kind of get lost in the detail, and I would try to, convey too many things, too many messages into the one song. And what I learned over the years is that it's actually far more effective and powerful, and it's really helped me a lot, is instead of trying to write a song or about a situation from start to finish, it's almost like pressing the pause button on the story or the movie, and then pressing the pause button and writing just from that one moment or that one situation. And a lot of my songs were actually written that way, and I find it's a lot richer because you can really go into the complexity and the dynamics of that one moment. And I guess the last bit of advice is, don't try to force it. Don't try to force the creative process, because if you try to force a song and it's not coming out naturally, then it's not going to sound really good. It'll sound really forced. So if you're finding that it's not flowing, then maybe you just need to kind of pause and put it aside for a while and come back to it later. Because I'm the kind of person, I probably couldn't write songs to a deadline. That's why I really admire people who can do that, because I couldn't do it. I don't think I can write songs under pressure. But anyway, people write songs in different ways, and it's whatever works for you, really. Well, you can listen to my music on all digital and streaming platforms out there, wherever you like to listen to your music. Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Amazon, wherever you like to listen to your music, it will be there. Or you can also find it directly through my website, which is salliedwards.com. And that's Salli, Salli, Edwards.com. Anyway, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk about my music. Bye.